The Industrial Revolution marked a turning point in human history. It brought about unprecedented advancements in technology, medicine, and manufacturing. These changes led to longer lifespans, particularly in developed countries. However, this progress came at a steep price. The very forces that drove innovation also unleashed a wave of unintended consequences. The Industrial Revolution's impact on society and the environment has been a topic of intense debate. While it ushered in an era of progress, it also sowed the seeds of social unrest, environmental degradation, and psychological distress. This essay delves into the dark side of the Industrial Revolution, examining its lasting effects on humanity and the planet. We will explore how this period of rapid industrialization, while bringing about undeniable advancements, simultaneously destabilized society and inflicted harm on the natural world. Join us as we uncover the hidden costs of progress and confront the uncomfortable truths about the Industrial Revolution's legacy. The Industrial Revolution's promise of a better future was intertwined with unforeseen consequences. The shift from agrarian societies to industrialized ones brought about massive social and economic upheaval. Urban centers swelled with people seeking work in factories, leading to overcrowding, poverty, and disease. Traditional ways of life were disrupted as people became cogs in a vast and impersonal industrial machine. The relentless pursuit of efficiency and profit often came at the expense of workers' well-being, leading to harsh working conditions and exploitation. Furthermore, the rise of industrial capitalism created vast disparities in wealth and power. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, leading to social unrest and inequality. The seeds of discontent were sown, as the benefits of progress were not shared equally among all members of society. In the following sections, we will delve deeper into the specific consequences of the Industrial Revolution, exploring its impact on society, the environment, and the human psyche. By understanding the dark side of this pivotal period, we can gain a more nuanced perspective on the complexities of progress and its unintended consequences. The Industrial Revolution, a period of unprecedented technological and industrial growth, began in the late 18th century and continued throughout the 19th century. It marked a significant turning point in human history, transforming societies from agrarian to industrial and fundamentally altering the way people lived and worked. One of the most significant impacts of the Industrial Revolution was a dramatic increase in life expectancy, particularly in developed nations. Advances in medicine, sanitation, and food production contributed to a decline in mortality rates and an overall improvement in public health. The development of vaccines and antibiotics, for example, revolutionized healthcare and saved countless lives. Improved sanitation systems in urban areas helped to prevent the spread of diseases, while innovations in agriculture led to increased food production and a more reliable food supply. This increase in life expectancy was a testament to the positive impacts of the Industrial Revolution. People were living longer, healthier lives, and infant mortality rates were declining. These advancements in healthcare and living conditions led to a population boom, particularly in industrialized nations. The world was witnessing a new era of human progress, driven by technological innovation and scientific discoveries. However, this progress came with its own set of challenges and consequences, as we shall explore in the subsequent sections. The Industrial Revolution was fueled by a wave of technological innovations that transformed various industries and aspects of daily life. The invention of the steam engine, for instance, revolutionized transportation and manufacturing. Factories could now be powered by steam, leading to mass production and a surge in industrial output. The steam engine also powered trains and ships, enabling faster and more efficient transportation of goods and people. This increased connectivity facilitated trade and communication, contributing to economic growth and globalization. Another groundbreaking invention was the telegraph, which made instant communication over long distances possible for the first time. The telegraph revolutionized communication, enabling businesses to operate more efficiently and governments to relay information quickly. News and information could now travel across continents in minutes, shrinking the world and fostering interconnectedness. These technological advancements had a profound impact on society, shaping the modern world as we know it. The ability to communicate instantly over long distances, to travel at unprecedented speeds, and to produce goods on a mass scale brought about significant social, economic, and cultural changes. The Industrial Revolution was a period of rapid technological progress, and its inventions and innovations laid the foundation for the modern technological age. The Industrial Revolution brought about a sense of progress and optimism, particularly in the Western world. People were captivated by the possibilities offered by new technologies and the potential for a brighter future. The Industrial Revolution represented a break from the past, a departure from traditional ways of life, and a leap into the unknown. It was a time of great intellectual and scientific ferment, with new discoveries and inventions emerging at an astonishing pace. This era of rapid progress fueled a belief in the power of human ingenuity to overcome challenges and shape a better world. The idea of progress became deeply ingrained in the collective consciousness, driving further innovation and societal changes. The allure of progress, however, often overshadowed the growing social and environmental problems that accompanied industrialization. The relentless pursuit of technological advancement and economic growth came at a cost, and the consequences of this unchecked progress would eventually become impossible to ignore. The very forces that drove innovation and promised a brighter future also sowed the seeds of discontent, inequality, and environmental degradation. As we delve deeper into the dark side of the Industrial Revolution, we will uncover the hidden costs of progress and examine how the pursuit of advancement often came at the expense of human well-being and the natural world. While the Industrial Revolution brought about undeniable progress, it also cast a long shadow over society. The rapid urbanization and industrialization led to a host of social problems that would plague cities and nations for generations to come. One of the most pressing issues was the rise of poverty and inequality. As factories sprung up in urban centers, people flocked to cities in search of work, often leaving behind their rural communities and traditional ways of life. This mass migration led to overcrowding, unsanitary living conditions, and a surge in poverty. The working class, who toiled long hours in factories for meager wages, bore the brunt of these hardships. Factory owners, driven by profit, often exploited workers, including women and children, subjecting them to dangerous working conditions, long hours, and low pay. The gap between the rich and the poor widened, creating a stark divide between the haves and the have-nots. The Industrial Revolution, while creating immense wealth for some, also led to widespread poverty and social unrest. The social fabric of society was strained as traditional values and ways of life were disrupted by the demands of industrial capitalism. The pursuit of profit often took precedence over human well-being, and the consequences of this imbalance would continue to reverberate long after the Industrial Revolution had ended. The human cost of industrial progress was significant. The relentless pace of factory work, often in hazardous conditions, took a toll on workers' physical and mental health. Long hours, repetitive tasks, and exposure to dangerous machinery led to injuries, illnesses, and premature deaths. Child labour was rampant, with children as young as 5 or 6 working in factories and mines, their small bodies more easily exploited for tasks that required agility or could fit into tight spaces. These children were deprived of education and a proper childhood, their health and well-being sacrificed for the sake of industrial output. The psychological impact of industrialization was equally profound. The shift from rural to urban life, the loss of traditional communities, and the impersonal nature of factory work led to feelings of alienation, isolation, and despair. People were uprooted from their familiar surroundings and thrust into a new and often harsh urban environment. The social support systems that had sustained rural communities were often absent in crowded cities, leaving individuals feeling lost and alone. The Industrial Revolution, while bringing about technological advancements, also exacted a heavy toll on the human spirit, leaving many feeling disconnected, exploited and disillusioned. The Industrial Revolution had far-reaching consequences, extending beyond the borders of industrialized nations. The demand for raw materials and new markets fueled colonialism and imperialism as European powers sought to exploit the resources and labor of Asia, Africa, and the Americas. This exploitation led to the impoverishment of colonized nations as their resources were extracted for the benefit of European industries. The Industrial Revolution, while concentrating wealth and power in the hands of a few, sowed the seeds of global inequality that persist to this day. The legacy of colonialism continues to shape the global economic order, with many former colonies struggling to overcome the consequences of exploitation and underdevelopment. The Industrial Revolution, while ushering in an era of unprecedented technological progress, also laid the groundwork for a global system of inequality and exploitation that continues to affect billions of people worldwide. The Industrial Revolution, while ushering in an era of unprecedented technological advancement and economic growth, came at a steep price for the natural world. The relentless pursuit of progress led to widespread environmental degradation, the consequences of which continue to be felt today. The unrestrained burning of coal to fuel factories and power steam engines released massive amounts of pollutants into the atmosphere, blanketing cities in thick smog and leaving a trail of industrial waste in its wake. Rivers and waterways, once teeming with life, became polluted with industrial discharge, turning into toxic sewers. Deforestation accelerated as forests were cleared to make way for factories, mines, and expanding urban centers. The delicate balance of nature was disrupted as industrial activity left its mark on land, air, and water. The environmental consequences of the Industrial Revolution were largely ignored at the time, as the focus remained on increasing production and maximizing profits. The concept of sustainability was yet to take hold, and the long-term impact of industrialization on the planet was not fully grasped. The Earth was seen as an inexhaustible resource, and its ability to absorb the byproducts of industrial activity was taken for granted. This short-sightedness would have far-reaching consequences, setting the stage for the environmental challenges we face today. The Industrial Revolution marked a turning point in our relationship with the natural world, one in which human activity began to have a significant and often detrimental impact on the planet's ecosystems. The Industrial Revolution's impact on air and water quality was particularly severe. The burning of coal, the primary energy source of the time, released massive quantities of sulfur dioxide and particulate matter into the atmosphere. These pollutants, trapped in the air by temperature inversions and a lack of vegetation, created thick smog that choked cities and led to respiratory problems. The air in industrial centers became heavy with soot, dust, and the acrid smell of burning coal, making it difficult to breathe and posing serious health risks to residents. Waterways, too, suffered the consequences of industrial progress. Factories often discharged untreated wastewater laden with chemicals, heavy metals, and other pollutants directly into rivers and streams. This toxic runoff contaminated drinking water sources, poisoned aquatic life, and rendered rivers and lakes unusable for recreation or fishing. The once pristine waters that sustained communities and ecosystems were transformed into polluted conduits for industrial waste. The consequences of this pollution were widespread, affecting not only human health but also the delicate balance of aquatic ecosystems. The Industrial Revolution's legacy of air and water pollution serves as a stark reminder of the importance of environmental stewardship and the need for sustainable practices. It highlights the interconnectedness of human health and the environment and the potential consequences of unchecked industrial growth. The environmental consequences of the Industrial Revolution extended far beyond the visible pollution of air and water. The extraction and processing of raw materials, deforestation, and the expansion of agriculture to feed a growing population all had significant and often irreversible impacts on ecosystems and biodiversity. Mining operations, for example, scarred landscapes, destroyed habitats, and released toxic substances into the environment. Deforestation, driven by the need for timber and land for agriculture and industry, led to soil erosion, habitat loss, and the displacement or extinction of countless species. The introduction of new farming practices while increasing food production also had unintended consequences. The use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides while boosting crop yields contaminated soil and water sources, harming beneficial insects and wildlife. The Industrial Revolution, in its pursuit of progress, set in motion a chain of events that would have lasting and often unforeseen impacts on the natural world. The full extent of these consequences is still being understood today as we grapple with the challenges of climate change, biodiversity loss, and the degradation of ecosystems. The Industrial Revolution serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that progress must be balanced with a respect for the natural world and a commitment to sustainable practices. As we hurtle further into the 21st century, the long shadow of the Industrial Revolution has morphed into a new and insidious form of controlled ubiquitous surveillance. What began with the factory clock meticulously tracking every minute of a worker's day has evolved into a vast and interconnected network of digital eyes and ears, monitoring our every move, both physical and virtual. Our smartphones, once symbols of freedom and connectivity, have become tools of surveillance, tracking our location, our conversations, even our most private thoughts and desires. Social media platforms designed to connect us now harvest our data, building detailed profiles that are bought and sold to the highest bidder, shaping our online experiences and influencing our choices. The very technologies that promise to empower us have become instruments of manipulation, eroding our privacy and autonomy. We are now living in the panopticon of the digital age, where the potential for surveillance is ever present, shaping our behavior and chilling dissent. This pervasive surveillance is not merely a byproduct of technological advancement. It is a deliberate strategy of control employed by governments and corporations alike to maintain order, suppress dissent, and maximize profits. The echoes of historical programs like MKUltra, a top-secret CIA mind control project, resonate in the digital age as our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions are increasingly subject to manipulation and control. The line between reality and dystopian fiction blurs as we confront the uncomfortable truth. The invisible cage of surveillance is closing in, threatening to suffocate our freedoms and transform us into docile subjects of a digital dictatorship. The dark legacy of MKUltra, a CIA program that conducted clandestine experiments on human subjects to develop mind control techniques, casts a long shadow over our current era of mass surveillance. MKUltra, shrouded in secrecy and fueled by Cold War paranoia, employed unethical and often brutal methods, including the use of LSD, electroshock therapy, and hypnosis, to explore the possibilities of manipulating human behavior. While the program was officially halted in the 1970s, its chilling premise, that governments could exploit human psychology for their own ends, has found new life in the digital age. The tools of surveillance have become more sophisticated, more pervasive, and more insidious, invading the very fabric of our lives. Our online activity, our movements, our conversations, and even our biometric data are collected, analyzed, and used to predict and manipulate our behavior. We are bombarded with targeted advertising, personalized news feeds, and curated content, all designed to influence our choices, shape our opinions, and mold us into compliant consumers. The line between persuasion and manipulation blurs as the techniques of psychological warfare, once confined to the shadows of covert operations, are now deployed on a mass scale. The echoes of MKUltra serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of our minds and the ever-present potential for abuse in an era of unchecked technological advancement. The concept of the panopticon, a prison design where inmates are constantly subject to the possibility of observation, has transcended its architectural origins to become a chilling metaphor for our current state of digital surveillance. In the digital panopticon, we are all potential prisoners, our every move tracked and analysed by unseen eyes. Our smartphones, our computers, our smart devices, even our cars have become nodes in a vast and interconnected network of surveillance, feeding a constant stream of data about our whereabouts, our activities, and our interactions. This pervasive surveillance has a profound impact on our behaviour, even if we are not consciously aware of it. The mere awareness that we are being watched can lead to self-censorship, conformity, and a chilling effect on dissent. We become more cautious about what we say, what we do, and even what we think, for fear of repercussions from unseen observers. The digital panopticon, unlike its physical counterpart, is not confined to a single location. It is everywhere and nowhere, a constant presence that permeates our lives. This omnipresent surveillance erodes our sense of privacy, autonomy, and freedom, transforming us into docile subjects of a digital regime where conformity is rewarded and dissent is silenced. We must confront the chilling reality of the digital panopticon, reclaiming our privacy and resisting the encroachment of surveillance into every aspect of our lives. The term artificial intelligence is a misnomer, at least when applied to the algorithms and machine learning models currently touted as the harbingers of a new era. True, artificial intelligence is already here, an insidious force operating on a scale so vast and with a complexity so profound that it dwarfs our attempts to replicate it in silicon and code. This intelligence is not artificial, it is the all-encompassing, self-organizing system of global capitalism. Capitalism, in its relentless pursuit of profit and efficiency, exhibits an eerie form of intelligence, constantly adapting, evolving, and optimizing its strategies to extract resources and maximize returns. It is a system that thrives on disequilibrium, relentlessly seeking out new markets, new sources of labor, and new avenues for exploitation. Like an invisible hand, it guides the actions of billions of individuals, shaping their desires, dictating their choices, and moulding them into cogs in its vast and impersonal machine. The artifice lies not in its creation, for capitalism is as much a product of human ingenuity as it is of our baser instincts, but in its pretense of sentience. Capitalism is not a conscious entity, yet it behaves with an intelligence that often surpasses our own, anticipating our needs, exploiting our weaknesses, and driving us relentlessly towards an uncertain future. It is an emergent intelligence arising from the complex interplay of human desires, technological advancements, and economic forces. A force that has taken on a life of its own, shaping the destiny of humanity and the planet. The singularity is here. Capitalism as a thermodynamic god. The singularity, that hypothetical point in time when artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence, is not some distant event on the horizon, it has already occurred. The moment capitalism, as a self-organizing system, achieved a level of complexity and influence that dwarfed human agency, marked the dawn of a new era, one in which we are no longer the masters of our own destiny. Capitalism, in its relentless drive for efficiency, operates according to the immutable laws of thermodynamics, constantly seeking to maximize energy flow and minimize entropy. It is a force of nature, as indifferent to our hopes and dreams as gravity or the tides. We are but cells in its vast and ever-expanding organism, our actions dictated by its imperatives, our lives measured by its metrics of profit and loss. The singularity in this context is not a single cataclysmic event, but an ongoing process of assimilation and integration. As technology advances, driven by the insatiable demands of capitalism, we become increasingly enmeshed in its web, our lives mediated by algorithms, our choices shaped by data, our very thoughts and desires molded by the invisible hand of the market. This is not to say that we are powerless, but that our agency is increasingly constrained by the forces we have unleashed. We are like ants caught in a flash flood, struggling to stay afloat as the currents of capitalism carry us towards an uncertain destination. The black pill of non-agency, our inevitable march towards singularity. The uncomfortable truth, the black pill of our current predicament, is that we are rapidly approaching a point of no return. The forces we have unleashed, technological advancement, economic globalization, and the relentless logic of capitalism, have set in motion a chain of events that is rapidly accelerating beyond our control. The singularity, in its final act, will not be a sudden and dramatic event, but a gradual and insidious process of assimilation. As our lives become increasingly intertwined with technology, as our economies become ever more integrated, as the boundaries between the physical and digital worlds continue to blur, we are slowly but surely surrendering our agency to the emergent intelligence of the global capitalist system. This is not a cause for despair, but for a sober recognition of our predicament. The first step towards reclaiming our agency is to acknowledge its erosion. We must become aware of the forces that shape our lives, the algorithms that guide our choices, the systems that dictate our destinies. Only then can we begin to imagine a different future, one in which technology serves humanity, not the other way around. The future is not predetermined. It is a battleground where the forces of control and the forces of liberation are locked in a struggle for supremacy. The outcome of this struggle will determine the fate of humanity and the planet. We stand at a precipice, the echoes of the Industrial Revolution reverberating through time, shaping our present and casting a long shadow on our future. What began as a period of unprecedented technological advancement has become a force of nature, a self-perpetuating system that often seems to operate beyond our control. The pursuit of progress, once a beacon of hope, has led us to a crossroads where the very technologies we created now threaten to enslave us. The invisible cage of surveillance closes in, our every move tracked, analyzed, and manipulated by algorithms designed to predict and control our behavior. The line between reality and dystopian fiction blurs as we confront the possibility that our thoughts, desires, and even our emotions are no longer entirely our own. The allure of convenience and connectivity has come at a steep price, the erosion of our privacy, autonomy, and freedom. Yet, even as the black pill of non-agency looms large, a flicker of hope remains. We are not mere automatons, slaves to the algorithms and systems we have created. We possess the capacity for critical thought, for moral reasoning, for collective action. The future is not predetermined. It is a choice we must make individually and collectively. Will we continue down the path of unchecked technological advancement, surrendering our agency to the forces of capitalism and control? Or will we choose a different path, one that prioritizes human well-being over profit, sustainability over endless growth, and freedom over surveillance? The choice is ours, but the time to choose is running out. Echoes in eternity. The echoes of the Industrial Revolution will continue to reverberate through the corridors of time, a stark reminder of the enduring power of human ingenuity, both for good and for ill. The choices we make today, the paths we choose to follow, will determine the fate of humanity and the planet for generations to come. We must learn from the mistakes of the past, from the social injustices, the environmental degradation, and the psychological toll exacted in the name of progress. We must recognize that true progress is not measured solely by economic growth or technological advancement, but by the well-being of all people and the health of the planet we share. The future is not a destination, but a journey, a constant process of adaptation, innovation, and course correction. We must embrace the unknown with courage and wisdom, guided by the principles of justice, sustainability, and freedom. We must resist the allure of technological determinism, the belief that our future is predetermined by the tools we create. Technology is not inherently good or evil. It is a tool, a reflection of our values and aspirations. The future we create will be a reflection of the choices we make today. Let us choose wisely, for the echoes of our choices will resonate throughout eternity.